with human design, you are told your type and your strategy and your authority. It's very specific information as to how you're uniquely designed to co-create with life. They give such a concise, in-depth, profound look into the archetypes that somebody is moving through in this incarnation. Soul contract is like the map that we're walking on, and the human design is like the map of the body that's walking on that map. Both systems really help me to integrate because I needed to see this technical information to really validate my experience.
As the frequency on Earth shifts and people's architecture shifting with it, my experience is that it can be a bit clunky.
The Earth is ascending, and she's just taking everybody that's on her, that we're going where. We are coming into a time where we're collectively waking up. So the frequency of the planet herself, Gaia, Mother Earth, she's waking up. It's like the Sleeping Beauty. She's waking up, and we're all waking up. And in that process, the masculine and the feminine energies need to be in balance. Being in the fire of that fierceness has helped me to embody my own power, because I didn't think that was okay for me before, because it's with pure compassion and tenderness for the and devotion to that soul in their awakening.
Welcome back to Journeys of Deepening Trust. And I have with me here again, Senaa Magdalene. Welcome, Senaa.
Thank you.
So we're continuing our conversation from last time, where we really ended. I mean, I was getting really excited around the reincarnation in the same body and the difference between that and the walk-in and the light body work, which I just find absolutely fascinating. There's so much more that we could talk about, but we're also here to talk about the rest of your journey as well. And I know we'll pick that up later on. So where would you like to go with this next? Where on your journey? You've spoken about human design, and I think we also mentioned a little bit about the soul contract system, about us both being eights. I think we did that on the recording.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that would be a good place to go next. How did you discover your human design, and what inspired you to take that further?
Yeah, so I guess if we go back to the RSB and the Kundalini awakening that instigated that, after that, I was just like so happy just to be back in a normal place again, because that was pretty far-out and it was a lot to deal with, a lot to integrate. And so I was actually in the process of building a business, or at the beginning of that process, and I started making artisan hats. I'm very creative. I used to be a knitwear designer, and the hats was a way that they were magic hats. They were a way that I could use my skills but connect with people one-to-one and kind of help them to feel good about themselves. You wear a hat, it's very close to your face, and it can completely change.
Chakra, right?
Yeah, and the crown chakra. Yeah, I actually realized that after an RSB, I was told this recently. Often, if you've had an RSB, you want to wear hats a lot to protect your crown. So that happened to me. I became a hat designer. So I did that for a few years. I opened a shop. It's actually on national TV in Ireland with that, and actually started sharing about my spiritual path as well, which was quite surreal. But at a certain point with that, I always knew that wasn't my thing. It was just something that I was guided to do, and it taught me a lot about business, even though maybe I'm not that's not my strong point, but it taught me a lot through the process. So having to put all of that steps in place and what you had to juggle and all of the different pieces, it was really valuable. And I got to the shop to a certain level of recognition, and then this whole big thing came, okay, you're not doing that anymore. And then I was like, all of that fell apart because in the background, I was doing my healing sessions and teaching meditation, and but it was kind of behind closed doors. It was the hats was the shop front, but that was my real work. So I get all of that. I was like, okay, that's done. You've completed now this other thing. And so that was a big leap of faith to you kind of, how am I going to make this work now? And you kind of ended up having to move to a new house to have a big space where I could run workshops, and hadn't a clue how all of this was going to come together. And a lot of fear coming up about money and you can supporting myself. And I got to a place actually where I didn't have food in the fridge. I couldn't pay my rent. My car had broken down. And I'm like, what on earth is going on? And I surrendered. And the next day, COVID happened.
Whoa.
And it was like the feeling was, to me, we've got a level playing field now. Whereas before it, I always felt like there was an inequality. It was like on a collective level, it felt like something had just been laid flat. Everybody was the same. There was no hierarchy anymore. And it was like, now's my time. This is my time to actually really step into my work. And because of all of the preparation I'd done in the whatever amount of time it had been at that time, 17 years or whatever, it was like I knew everything I'd done was in preparation for then. And human design landed through my inbox by just out of the blue. It was somebody that I didn't even know sent me this information. And I started looking at it, and it was just, I know this stuff. I know this. It's like I'd had a little bit of I dived a bit into astrology before then, but something about astrology just didn't connect. I couldn't integrate it, but human design, it was just like, because it was to do with the body, I think it just really landed in me. And with human design, you are told your type and your strategy and your authority. It's very specific information as to how you're uniquely designed to co-create with life, how you're meant to kind of work with the science or the different strategies that people have in order to use your energy in the most optimal way. And when this information landed for me, it was at a time where I hadn't been using my energy in the optimal way. I'd been going into panic about money, and I'd been throwing it all over the place and wasting my energy, and nothing was actually working because I hadn't been waiting for the guidance. And I realized there was this team in the higher dimensions that really wanted to work with me and wanted to guide me and support me. But when I went into my human self and my conditioning and my panic and my worries, I would go into a negative loop, and I would lose track with my guidance, and I would end up throwing all my energy into things that wasn't actually my path, wasn't optimal, wasn't what even the people that I'm serving wished for me, to be offering them. And I was embodied, complete. I was physically embodied at that stage. So when human design landed, it was so deeply meaningful because I could see how I was taken off track and what I needed to do practically to start operating with a strategy that was going to support me. And it was like this huge weight just lifted off my shoulders, and this realization, I don't have to do this all by myself. I've got this team in the higher dimensions that actually I'm just one on the ground or like do this, but they have the higher picture. You can along with my higher self. And I was so passionate about this information when it landed because I could see so clearly how it had negatively impacted me, the way that I'd gone off track. I just couldn't wait to share it with other people. And so I started giving readings immediately with my close friends, and then it just kind of spread, and then I did a bit of training, and all of these people just started flooding to me because I needed to, firstly, because I was so passionate, but I also needed to understand and learn this stuff. And it's through teaching other people that I get to really learn it deeply myself. So I did a couple of trainings in human design, and then thinking I was going to continue with that at that time. And then again, Spirit started bringing Nicholas's work, Nicholas David Nan, the soul contract work, which is another type of reading to do with the energies and the archetypes inherent in our names, and particularly our birth certificate name. And that just was like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. That's what. And somehow I managed to manifest. There was a training in a couple of weeks. I managed to manifest the money, and I was on that. And then that started this whole journey into, I did all of the soul contract trainings, and then the divine healing trainings, and then recently the Lightbody trainings as well. So yeah.
Wow, amazing. So have you continued into your human design? Do you still use that in your work?
Yes. So after doing the work with Nicholas, human design was always ongoing. But then I found another teacher that she actually the hook for me was I saw her speaking on a podcast, and she works with the asteroids in human design. So in traditional human design, there's just the main planets in the solar system is what gives the definition in a human design chart, a normal traditional chart. But this woman, Kim Gold in Australia, she started working with asteroids, and the asteroids are often to do with the divine feminine energies, and they're in a deeper layer, they're more subconscious, the way that they operate. And in this podcast, the first asteroid that she mentioned was Magdalena. Like, okay, I'm in. So yeah, so I started studying with her, and she's got a human design community. Love Your Design is her work, her website. And that has been a more informal training where nearly with the transits that's happening at the time, she will share some information about the different asteroids, and then we're looking at how they're playing it and where are they in our chart, are they a major one for us, and how are they playing it in the storylines that we've had during our lifetime, and how are they playing it for us in this present moment as well. So that's just been absolutely fascinating, and realizing actually that the whole cosmos, the planets, the asteroids, all of the different heavenly beings in the stars are all within our chart. So they're all within us. The cosmos is within us, playing it through this physical body. And yeah, I mean, the depth in that, it's like you're never going to stop studying that. Where does that ever end?
Yeah. Yeah, that's that whole, isn't it? As above, as so below, or as within, so without, all of those, yeah, it's all reflected within.
Yeah. And human
Um,
design gives you that map of how that individually is expressing in your body in this lifetime, which has just been incredible to realize for myself personally.
yeah, yeah. Um, and you sometimes I've seen sort of picked photographs, like taken of a cell, at a certain sort of magnitude, I guess, and then comparing it with a photograph of the universe, and they're almost identical.
Yeah.
It'd be difficult to tell one from the other. These structures are replicated throughout everything. Everything is interconnected. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. There's somebody's work I'm following at the moment, Robert James Comber. He's a polymath and he's connecting the star systems to he's seeing things in the DNA and in the different components in our body, what the actual patterns in the stars are being reflected in the body. And it's like identical. You can while you're seeing this, and
Mm.
his work has brought the human design again into another level for me. Yeah, it's just so fascinating, and there's so many amazing people embodied at this time that's bringing through this information in a way that's connecting all of the dots through all of the different modalities and showing you how it's all works together. Um, yeah,
And what I'm feeling as well with what you're talking about, that soul contracts that work mainly with our birth name, it's almost the sense I'm getting, it's almost that the frequency of our name, it learns how to play along those strings of that universal instrument, shall we say, so that
yeah.
that echoes throughout. Would you like to say a little bit more about soul contract training? Because my understanding and experience of it is very basic.
Yeah, so when I do healing sessions, actually, the very first thing that I'll do is I'll go straight to the soul contract charts. Um, they give such a concise, in-depth, profound look into the archetypes that somebody is moving through in this incarnation, especially so that it's divided into categories. So the challenges or the karma that a soul chooses to come in with, embody with, um, the talents and gifts that we've maybe gained in previous lifetimes, where we've mastered certain archetypes, or we're a bit better at them. We've got a bit, and we've chosen these gifts to help us to overcome maybe the biggest challenges that we've had. And then also we're goals, where we're heading, and we're ultimately we're destiny, we're soul destiny. So how Nicholas actually explained it was soul contract is like the map that we're walking on. Yeah, and the human design is like the map of the body that's walking on that map.
Mm,
And so when I look at both lots of charts, I'm seeing how they kind of correspond and interweave. Um, a lot of the things are replicated in different ways in each chart, but also if something is maybe missing in the name chart, I'll find it in the human design chart. So for me, I just love that insight is when I get both lots of charts out before a person even arrives in my sessions, that I have a feeling of who they are, their energy, and I can see how it's working in the chart. So um there's a side of me that's very technical, and I love that kind of architectural energy. Actually, both systems really help me to integrate after the reincarnation in the same body, because I needed to see this technical information to really validate my experience. I knew what had happened, but there was a part of me that needed that in order for it to really be integrated and land in my body as my truth, in a way that maybe not so much that I could accept, but I could maybe share with others.
Yes. Yeah. Would you like to say a little bit more about what you learnt when you did your light body work training about that reincarnation in the same body? Is there anything you feel we haven't covered yet that you'd like to?
Depends how weird you want to get.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, well, there's one thing I can share. Like, so when I was coming back in through the dimensions after my soul having left the body, and then another aspect was coming back in. I was given, or I was shown triangles of energy, and each triangle at each point had a different word, and the words were frequency. So it could be peace, joy, unity, for example. And then I would come down through that, and then another triangle with different words. And my guides were very persistently getting me to repeat the words as I was coming back in. It's so that I hold the information in my consciousness, even though I kind of remember them intellectually right now. But it was I knew it was levels of consciousness, and it was codes as to how possibly I would ascend back up again, but maybe also what I was maybe collectively holding for humanity in this ascension process that we're going through. And so that was like, well, what is that? Where did that come from? But when I started doing the light body training, one of the books that we were guided to was Drunvalo Melchizedek's books. Is it The Ancient Secrets of the Flower of Life or something like that is the title?
You're the second person on the podcast who one of that, but I don't know if it's that exact book, but the same, yeah.
Yeah, so there's two volumes, and I think it might be the second volume. There's actually a picture that he's got in there. Oh, the triangles interlocking in the Star of David, which is the three-dimensional Merkaba. And at each point in the triangle, he's got words with a frequency. And he says it's a Stargate. And he's a walk-in, Drunvalo Melchizedek. And when he walked in, he came through that Stargate. So that was what was happening. Yeah. And then in the light body work, how that kind of comes together is we'd go through a process in the light body of removing structures and beings and entities and parasites and different things that we've agreed to carry in our light body, and we're fifth dimensional and above light body. When we come in to play this game of separation on the planet, the light body work, the first part is removing these structures that are actually inhibiting our soul energy and our light to actually come into the body. So we remove these. Some of them are general and some of them are very individuated, depending on our karma or our soul experience. So there's a process of removing that and then rebuilding the light body in creating circuits, rebuilding, activating things that maybe haven't been activated before in this lifetime. And also bringing in grids. So the grids are to do with building the Merkaba in different geometric, sacred geometry grids in the light body. So that connection there, or having come in through that star grids, and then the light body work, you can, it's just all interconnected. It was very, so I kind of feel like that's still opening up for me, because I know that I carry that information in my consciousness, and possibly through working with clients and doing the Lightbody work, I have a sense that that's going to start opening up more to a level that I can understand whenever the time is right. Because a lot of the Lightbody work is very intuitive, and I follow instructions. I'm told what to do and when to do it. But and that's, again, is that surrender, following spirit. When you might not know why you're doing this at that time, but then as things evolve, then you see exactly what the purpose in that was, or how that unfolded the way that it did. So yeah.
And I can see why that work is specifically important for walk-ins as well, because those structures are from the previous occupant of that body.
Yeah.
And so it's going to hinder them. So.
And holding of the previous occupant soul of the body was not advanced enough to bring more light in, because for light to come in, it's going to bring up a lot of trauma, and that's part and parcel way the Lightbody work is, that people have to have a healing modality to support with that work, and that's what the divine healing was created for. So because the Lightbody work isn't healing, it's more architectural, it's awakening, to remove the structure so that the soul can land in the body when the timing is right, and that is dictated by the higher self, how that unfolds for each person individually. But as more light descends into the body, it's going to flush up more trauma. So you have to have a way to be supported with that healing aspect. And so I love the combination. The divine healing sessions is to support with the trauma work, which again is more the Magdalena aspect.
Yeah. And how do you feel that the as the frequency on Earth shifts, and to an extent people's architecture shifting with it, I mean, my experience is that it doesn't always shift in perfect alignment. It can be a bit clunky, right?
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
But there are these shifts. So how do you feel that with the rising frequency of the Earth, and therefore that enables more frequency to come in, how do you feel that affects the way the value of Lightbody, the continuing value of Lightbody work?
Yeah. So what I understand for my guru and for different people that I follow, and just for my inner truth, is we're going through this process now, whether we want to or not. The Earth is ascending, and she's just taking everybody that's on her, that we're going where. Whereas before we had a choice whether we wanted to awaken or whether we didn't. We could stay, and we could stay in where we're patterns and we're trauma, or you can, but before it was very hard to awaken, because the cosmic energy wasn't there supporting it. So at the time of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, to actually become enlightened was really, really hard. It was dark, very dark times on the planet, and most people had to go into the mountains, into an ashram, to be away from the collective consciousness that would keep pulling the frequency down. Now this is happening worldwide. It's happening for everybody at whatever stage of awakening we're at. Everybody is making a big shift. And I feel that we have come as beings to serve for this awakening, to support people as much as possible. People maybe that, like me, right at the beginning, didn't have a clue what was going on. Yeah, I didn't have any teachings, and this happened, and through that journey, you can, as a new, have a better understanding of why this happened to me. So basically, this is happening collectively, and it's not just a consciousness shift, it's actually a physical shift in the body. My guru is sharing that the physicality is going to be mutating or changing at such a huge rate, like that, even to the state that if surgeons are working on somebody's body, they might find new organs or new glands that have never existed before. So, I mean, I don't know the timeline in that, whether it's happening at the moment or whether but it's not just happening on a consciousness level, it's happening on a physical level where body is mutating. So for me, it's so important that we can step up and start serving the people around us in whatever way that we have the capacity to. And if you can, for me, being a healer, all of that trauma is just being washed to the surface, and it's like people need that support, how to clear this as fast as possible, how to transmute it, and how to turn these big wounds into what are gifts, actually, because hopefully that's what I've done, is I've transformed my trauma into a way that I can serve other people. So the light body work in particular, I see it as making that process go much smoother, because when you have it's a series of basic light body sessions, and then there's advanced sessions. When you're removing these structures, that's separating you from your soul being able to actually come in more, it means that you're going to be able to follow spirit and your soul much easier, rather as being trapped in the wounds and the trauma and being taken off path. So on that level, it's going to be much easier for people to just go with this process rather as fighting against it. But also on a physical level, it's building that new channels and new architecture to support the physical body to go through this change as well.
Beautiful. Thank you. So within that, we're coming to the point which we didn't cover last time, of what new story would you like to see unfold, either for yourself or for humanity or for the greater collective? And by that I am including the planet, the planetary consciousness as well, in whichever way you would like to share.
Yeah, well, I
I
guess
feel what you said about the light body feels very relevant to that, but maybe there's something else you would like to.
yeah, I guess it's just a summing up of that, is that we are coming into a time where we're collectively waking up, and we're moving into global enlightenment and ascension. So the frequency of the planet herself, Gaia, Mother Earth, is she's waking up. It's like the Sleeping Beauty storyline. She's waking up, and we're all waking up. And in that process, or awakening or enlightenment, the masculine and the feminine energies need to be in balance. Yeah, we've got these channels in the body where Kundalini kind of rise in its full power until both that part of us is in balance, and the integration between the left brain and the right brain. So this is happening within us, and it's also happening globally. So yeah, I mean, we're already seeing that a lot more women coming into their empowerment, into their tenderness, their softness, their compassion, the frequency that's actually more powerful for me than anything else. That we are learning how to embody that more and more, so that we're coming into this polarity consciousness, this third dimensional right, wrong, good, bad, that's keeping within this separation place. And through the heart, we unify the polarities within us so that we can raise up into that fifth dimensional state. So that's what I feel my work is about, for me personally, and hopefully to guide my clients through that process as well.
It's beautiful. And the one word that has come up for me around the feminine is, and because you mentioned Carly earlier as well, is fierceness. And as you're speaking, what I realize is that fierceness comes from a place of deep tenderness.
Yeah.
Because of that feeling. It has to be felt for that real fierceness to emerge.
Yeah, my guru can be extremely fierce when she needs to be. And it doesn't feel very nice at the time, but it's usually that fierceness brings up the issues, brings up the patterns, brings up the things in us that is actually creating suffering. It's bringing us off track, that's covering up our true self. And yeah, that fierceness is needed at times, but it's always coming from a place so deep compassion and tenderness, because there is no separation between, like, and with my guru, it's like she's in oneness consciousness, so she doesn't see me as separate from herself. It's all that one. It's me that has that, or each one of us that has that part of us that believes that we're a separate being, or so the fierceness it's definitely one that I've been through quite a few times. And what it's done for me actually is being in the fire of that fierceness has helped me to embody my own power, because I didn't think that was okay for me before. I suppressed that. I tried to, like, keep it down. I've got a lot of dragon energy, and I demonized my dragon. I thought that was what was wrong and bad and evil about me, where actually it was my power. And it's when you can embrace that and accept that and learn to use that in alignment with spirit, you can to, like my guru does, is when she's fierce when she needs to be, because it's with pure compassion and tenderness for and devotion to that soul in their awakening, in their enlightenment. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, Senaa. I have so enjoyed our conversations. It's been amazing. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you for
thank you so
inviting
much.
me. It's I feel that it's always a bit challenging for me to speak about these kinds of things, because it's been such a deep internal process, and sometimes a bit weird, but it's nice when you can share with like-minded people. And hopefully, like I said to you earlier, I decided to come on because I know that sometimes, even if one person connects with something that we've shared and it makes a difference to them, then it's worth it.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel, because that's part of that the ripple effect, which that's what we're here to do. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who's been watching and or listening. Sending you much love from my heart to yours.